Down payments dropping from historic highs. I think this is like super obvious, but there's a couple questions I had for you specifically on the front lines of this. I wanted to talk to you about. So article is stating exactly that. Down payments are down. They're dropping from historic highs, which came from the historic rise of home values after 2020, 2021. Rates were low. Values are high. Equity is still at an all-time high with, I think, like $17 trillion or $19 trillion of collective home equity across the nation. Yeah. But down payments are dropping, I think, for a couple of reasons. It's not because of the equity. It's because people are putting less down on purpose because they're trying to hold some money back for the unknown. I think it's a behavioral, psychological thing that's driving this, not just the price of the house.
Yeah, and the article also mentions, that sellers are more prone to help buyers, So we're not having these high bidding wars anymore and stuff like that. So that also helps, which is good. And that's just because we also have more supply of homes. We also have more buyers in the fence, and not a lot of people can afford. And so the ones that can afford, they're just being a little pickier on what they get and what they're able and capable of buying.
Well, it's one of the things I was going to ask you is like, what are you hearing from people when they're saying, I'm going to put, instead of putting 30% down, I'm going to put 20, or instead of 20, I'm going to do 10, even though they might have the cash. What are some of the reasons you're hearing or some of the reasons you're perceiving?
Some people are just they have a tight budget, and that's what fits their budget. And so sometimes when you have that one person that thought he was going to go with 30%, he may go with 20 because he wants that extra 10% to be a buffer for any case of emergency. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are just contemplating, I can't put all my eggs in one basket.
See, that's what I'm getting at, man. I think that the tone has changed.
Of course.
I think before it was like, oh, we got all this gobs of money, let's just put as much as we can so we can have the cheapest house payment as possible, which of course, that makes financial sense. That makes great financial sense. Yeah. However, if you drain your bank in order to do that, now you're left with nothing in the case of an emergency. That's also a different issue. And I think that there's this growing concern that people must be more financially prepared now than they did feel 4 years ago, or even 8 years ago.
And again, our community, there's been facts talked about that they're concerned about their employment.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, well, we don't know where we're going to be, so I'd rather have extra additional funds and not have to put all of it, as a down payment. Yeah. People are being a lot more cautious. Yeah. Remember, we've been in this trajectory of interest rates rising for over 2 years. And so people, this is the new, what they're getting accustomed to. Things are costing more, everything's getting a lot more expensive. So I need to have a better buffer now.
The other thing I wanted to mention too, and I know this might be a smaller percentage of what's happening, but I know what's happening, is when people are selling their house and they have a HELOC, well, that means that there's less equity for them left, and then that means there's less for them to use on the purchase side. So that's one scenario. The other scenario is HELOC or no HELOC, people carry a lot of personal debt. So if you had $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 of personal debt, and you pay that off with the proceeds of your sale, then you have naturally less money for your down payment to go towards a new purchase. So some of this, I think, is just a default outcome of people paying off stuff that the previous home had helped them acquire or basically had lent against. Yeah. And now you just got less.
Even if they didn't have a HELOC, right? They just had debt, credit card debt, car debt. Yeah. Hey, I have all these proceeds now. I might as well just pay that because I'm going to go in the other one, and it just makes more sense.
Well, in how many cases where you have to pay it off in order for the DTI and the new purchase to make sense? Right. Like, oh, I have to pay all this stuff off in order to be able to buy the new place? Yeah, you do. Yeah. So then there's naturally just less down payment.
But I do like that. A new report by Realtor.com shows that the median down payment homeowners plunked down for their July to September of 2024 was an average of 14.5 or $30,300 of down payment. I mean, we work with a lot of military, so they're not required to put down payment.
Right.
So at the same time, this didn't address whether is it just down payment or could it be closing costs, but it's just down payment, right?
Well, yeah, and I think there's just the other element of this where people, yes, they just naturally have less. Yeah. So that's kind of a duh. Yeah, they have less money, so yeah, down payments are less. I think I think the overriding thing for me is it's the personal choice. Yeah. It's people saying I could put more down. I do not want to. And it's not because they think it's going to become devalue. Like when you buy a car, you put, I'm going to put 50% down. The car's worth 50% the second you drive it off the lot or whatever that number is. That's not the case here with housing, but I know that's in people's heads because I've been having these conversations with even realtors, and they're saying like, hey, people just don't want to put as much money on the line anymore because to them, And this to them, the house is now going to do some work for them.
Correct.
So if the house has another attached unit or the house has a place to pay aid you in the back, guess what? I'll take the higher payment that I can qualify for because it's going to be offset by income coming in.
Exactly.
So I can hold some cash back, get some income coming through the front door, offset the higher mortgage payment that I have.
Go from there.
Done and done.
Yeah. And here, it goes, so why are down payments dropping? Fewer home buyers are out there, which gives those who do brave today's market, I like that, more leverage, according to Realtor.com senior economic search analyst Hannah Jones. There's just some that they're the ones that can brave this. They're going to negotiate that.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not going to go in there what the seller wants. There's another property that I can go out there and negotiate better terms.
Yeah. Well,
we've seen it. And that's another thing that we have been seeing is we've been seeing buyers get into escrow and they're still searching, right? Because with the realtor puts their search criteria, they still keep looking and they're like, well, hey, Andy, I like this home, but I'm not truly in love with it. I do see this other one. I can see myself there. It's got a bigger yard or it's got one additional bedroom. The cost is about $5,000 difference. Let's go try it over here.
Yeah.
I mean, already in escrow. Let me see if I could put better negotiation terms over here. Maybe they'll give me a $10,000 credit. Let's just try it. What does that hurt?
What do I have to lose? Yeah.
What do I have to lose?
Yeah.
And so they do that, and next thing you know, we're canceling an escrow.
Yeah.
Because we have seen an uptick in escrow cancellations, not due to them not buying, due to they found a different property that they, really like.
So then where do you find yourself on the argument side, not argument, on the pro and con side of if you have that much money in order to be that choosy, do you think people should in a tight inventory market or not? Should they be that choosy or not?
If you can, why not?
Yeah, I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I just want to know
I think so. I would advise a person, this is going to be the biggest investment that you're going to make in your life. Yeah. You might as well make it and be sure that this is going to be the one.
The one you want, yeah.
The one that you want, right? And is this going to be the one that you want to put that much money down also? And so when we check all their financials, we see if they put money in the stock market or in their Bitcoin, whatever it may be. And we're trying to guide them and say do you really need to put 30% down or 40% down? You can go and put 10% down. This is what your payment. And the difference, I see that you're making 18, 20, 25% return on your investment.
Yeah.
You may want to put it there. So those are a lot of things that happen to, in different cases with different clients.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that this is going to be a probably more robust conversation as we get to the end of 24 and into 2025, because I think as the economics continue to be more revealing and we learn more about what is working right in the economy and what might be the trouble spots in the economy, as that becomes more clear, I think that we're probably going to see down payments go down because people have changed their behavior about money. I know that it used to be like, you put as much down as you can to have the lowest payment as possible. Well, that's not true for VA. When you're doing 0% down, 100% financing, because your BAH is covering the whole payment. So that's just not true at all in that situation.
And it talked about that here too. Texas and Virginia being one of those because it's a big military market.
Yes.
With the, where the less down payment came from, 2 of those states.
San Diego, you got Hawaii. There's places in.
But Hawaii was one of the most expensive.
I know.
Which is crazy, right?
I'm just talking about pockets of military. Man, it's where that is, the numbers are going to be skewed and distorted because of that. Because there's just a much higher ratio of people who live there use VA than other spots of the country where there's no central base or anything. And
I mean, you look at Texas. Well, guess what? They have 44% more inventory this year than they did last year.
Yeah. Well, they've been building like crazy out there, man. I don't know if I told you or not. I had make a pit stop across the country. I stopped in Dallas, but we missed a flight, so I had to stay at a friend's house at one of our friends who moved out there. Dude, there was construction everywhere right now in Dallas, and then even in the suburbs. Yeah, dude, there's new homes everywhere.
It's right now a builder's paradise.
I see stuff on Instagram all the time, like new Texas house here,
building, but not enough.
I don't know.
Not enough.
I don't know, man. I think maybe. That seems like a lot, though.
It does, but it's not enough, Andy. Our population, they say every 50 years, our population doubles.
I get that, but that's a long time, too. I'm saying, I don't know that the amount of... obviously, I think in this moment in time, this snapshot in time, whatever's being built in Texas is going to be absorbed. There's the inventory. Of course. There's still people moving from other areas to Texas for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, they're still not building enough homes.
Oh, I know.
They're still building... homes enough
I know,
for people to get in and still sell them at, high market levels.
What do we say? Yeah, we're still 4.5 million units behind where we should be.
I think that's kind of low.
That's not going to be solved overnight.
But here's the thing with our real estate. Our real estate market is changing so fast because the interest rates make those changes, those drastic changes for us, and that's something we can't control. That's something we can predict later, because we have so many things that, you got the jobless claims, you have, your consumer price index, you have consumer confidence, you have permits, you have all these things that make interest rates go sway either to benefit the consumer or be at a disadvantage. And lately we've been seeing it for the last almost month now. It's just been a disadvantage. We've been getting hit. Again, October becomes that reminder of the last October and the previous October. It's been brutal.
I'm starting to dislike the month of October financially.
Yes. It used to be like, damn, trick or treat, give me something good to eat, right? Now it's like, trick or treat, you ain't giving me anything but just bad news.
Well, my final thought on this part of the article is that, even though down payments have started to like decrease, they're also still historically high when compared to historical averages over the course of time.
Yeah.
And it's just because of the housing prices.
Yeah.
They're just so much higher now than they were 4 years ago that, it does just make sense that even though they're declining, they're getting a little bit lower, they're still at an elevated rate or elevated price to elevated number to where they were just a few short years ago. That is unlikely to change, and here's why I'm mentioning it. That just goes back to the point of this is going to separate the haves and the have-nots. Yeah. And that's my number one sticking point when it comes to housing is it's becoming less and less of a opportunity for people who have probably worked hard to save, but their rate of savings got outpaced by the home price appreciation of the last 36, 48 months.
It's very true. And I'm going to actually rebut it because earlier you asked, like, what's going to solve our crisis? Well, the cool thing about that, which is pretty crazy, is we're seeing Amazon build their own inbox houses.
Okay, I saw that.
Right?
Okay.
And then
I didn't know you were going to bring that up. We could have talked about this whole thing.
Because that's pretty crazy too. Then you have Walmart. You have Home Depot. Right? And so like Walmart is doing one like $16,000. It's a 19 by 20 one bedroom. People who have land, like let's just say I don't want to build an ADU, but I'm looking at, hey, I want to just subsidize my mortgage payment because I have a huge... I'll put a $16,000 there. Just make sure that you're getting your permits with the city and it's all good. But then you can put maybe 2 or 3 of those. And right now, one bedroom here in San Diego is renting anywhere from $1,800 all the way upwards to like $2,800 a month. Crazy. And these things look pretty. I saw on YouTube the Amazon one, and they're 2 levels. There's some that are 2 levels.
Well, even remember Boxable?
4 bedrooms.
Like that Boxable thing where you can put them together side by side, top to bottom.
Andy, it comes with a forklift. You bring it in with a forklift and you put it together. You get a couple of friends.
I think you need to clarify that. I don't think it comes with a forklift.
No, it doesn't come. I'm sorry. It does not come with the forklift.
I'm just picking on you.
But you can get a forklift to just come and deliver that thing. It's crazy.
Free with your home purchase. You get your own forklift.
It's a home in the box.
Oh my gosh.
Ready for you to assemble. Amazon's like $30,000, and then the Walmart's 19 by 20, and it's at like $15,900.
I'd like to buy that with my Affirm 18-month pay. Yeah,
but there you go. You can buy these things with the credit card, right? So Andy, if your credit card's anywhere from 16 to 18%, but you're buying 16, right? You're buying it for 16,000, and you rent this thing out for 1,800. Your math.
Oh, I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
1,800
You're going to be in the
12,
positive. You're going to be in the positive.
Way positive. You'll pay that investment out like
I'm fast. Just sorry, as you're throwing numbers at me, you know what my mind was thinking?
You're paying less than a year.
You know what my mind was thinking right now? I'm like, I wonder if they're going to sell gift cards for that. Amazon gift card.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. You get that for Christmas in your stocking. Oh, Amazon gift card. It's for a house.
Yeah.
Assemble. It's for a 19 by 20 box.
But that could be a good solution to some of these things. So,
gosh, wow.
There we go.
Well, I think we'll have to come back to that because there's actually a couple of other things I've seen too that it might be worth talking about as far as like what do they call it? Tiny housing.
Tiny housing.
A lot of tiny housing.
People need ideas. People need ideas. They need to have this understanding. There's certain ways to subsidize their payments. Or some people that have all this land, they don't even know. They don't know how they can leverage and utilize that. You know, so I wanted to throw that out there because like, let's give some of these people some ideas out there. Things can be affordable, right? If you make it.
The landscape of real estate continues to surprise me in a lot of ways and not surprise me in others. And this is one of those where I'm just so surprised.
And I don't know why you're so surprised, because you're the one that always says, because of we're having these mortgage challenges, the government's going to have to step in and get creative. That's what's happening. The real estate market is getting very creative.
Yeah, I think I'm saying that in the sense of like how many different types of tiny home solutions I've seen is surprising to me. Like I didn't think like, you go to Home Depot and they got like the big shed out in the front. You're like, oh, that's a really nice shed for $5,000 or whatever. And then now you're like, oh, it's not a shed, it's a house.
Correct. And you know, you say that, but Ronnie actually, I went to his house and they got one of those sheds.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, he has a Bobcat.
And it's for an office, right? But no, this one, you didn't need a Bobcat. It was just a forklift, Andy, going back to that. Okay?
Ronnie just buys his own big dirt toys.
Listen, it had all the stucco, nice windows. His neighbor actually does roofing, put nice roof to match his house.
I want to go.
It looks great. You'd be
That's
like,
cool.
Like, are you sure this is a shed?
Awesome.
This was a shed. It doesn't look like it's a shed. It looks like a freaking nice, really nice office. It's
super
crazy.
cool,
and then you go to the side, and then that's where the shed. It looks like a shed, you know, but he made it like a workman area right there.
That's
workshop.
crazy.
It
That's
looks
super cool.
I might take a video and show you.
I can't wait to see it.
There you go.
Like how he said, I said, I want to go see it. And he goes, I'll take a video. I won't take you. I'll take a video.
He's all the way up at Oceanside. So,
well, you don't mind driving that far. All right.